All right, it's about that time once more. Let me hit. Hold on, I'm gonna get some people in here. Fucking today. Let me just walk through the process of doing this whole thing. So today we're doing the edit of a new book. So let me go to my channel dashboard and let me pull up. Let's see if I can get our live stream. Blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. So I show that we're live here. Live science fiction novelette. That's great. And if I could just pull up. That's fucking fine. No, it's not made. I hate this fucking made for kids horse shit on YouTube every single fucking time. All right, and we're public and everything, so. All right, maybe tomorrow I'll set up like the day counter and so forth. What? Oh, I see Logic already up in the stream. I guess the notification bell fucking works. Logic, it may just be you and me today, because I think Spathiwar is MIA. And like, let me see, twitch.tv, twitch.tv, Zach ZYZ. And I think it's on my Facebook and some other nonsense too. But yeah, let me just go through and I'll walk you through the process. So I link it in pound LRH. I link it in pound not math. And I'll link it in pound Sally. They like me there. And in pound firm chats, they like me there. That's on the int80 server. Always got to link that shit in Teens for Christ. Wait, who got upped? Oh no, it wasn't. Yeah, we lost ops in pound Teens for Christ, and Max has like the highest record, but he's no longer a chatter of repute. I shouldn't say that shit. All right, but let me go to full documentary. So I link it in the Joe Rogan Discord because I'm a moderator and nobody can say shit to me if I link it there. And then I can link it in my own fucking Discord. Oh, I like that everybody spelled out LRH tonight on there. And I can link it on the Twitch Writers Network thing. Who's fucking... Is somebody else live now? I gotta beat their ratings if so. There's Writer Greg. Detailed outline of Act 1's of events that will occur during the Totems urban fantasy superhero novel. 10-minute Pomodoro style writing sprints. Oh, I already hate this dude. Can't stand a brown nosed nigga, fake ass bastard. All right, and let me see. Where's the off topic one? All right, there we go. So I think I linked it just about everywhere, and then I just got to get Restream chat up where I can fucking see it. The music scene has got me down, 'cause I don't want to be a clown. We call that a jerk. All right, let me see if I got banned from anywhere that I linked this shit. Not so far. I should stop cursing on the editing stream. Oh, I see Negi in the chat right there. All right, so it's not just two people, me and Logic. It is 3 or 4 people. And where did we manage to broadcast to? So Periscope won't take us anymore, but we're on DLive and Picardo and Twitch.tv and Facebook and YouTube. Waiting for a delivery of pliers. That used to be a big part of my life. These linesman's pliers that we called side cutters back when I was an electrician. Those were like the #1 tool that you would use for every fucking job. And guys who had been an electrician for a long time, the hinge on their pliers, it was like the rivet that held it together, was like so loose from all the work that they could like throw their side cutters up in the air and then go click, clack, click, clack, 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 clack on the way down. And my side cutters were brand fucking new, and they were like Klein tools. They were like $40 that I couldn't really afford, but you had to get the right ones. And mine would just like whoa, 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 they would make that sound because I hadn't worn them down to nothing. Level's very low. Let me see. Very low, bro. I don't know, man. It's showing to me is pretty high. Hold on, let me listen to my own live stream here for a second. The music scene has got me down. Well, let's humor Negi. All right, what do we got? The music scene has got me down. Nah. Yeah, honestly, flush cutters specifically, cool. Yeah, what are you doing, Negi? Like with your flush cutting. So Logic, check and make sure that your volume is up and that the little volume icon on YouTube is like slid all the way over there. Because from my perspective, I don't know why my voice went up like a fucking octave there. From my perspective, is coming in, and I'd say that we're like about 10 decibels under peak. So Negi or anybody else that's listening, can you check and see if it's actually too quiet? All right, hold on. Let me see. So I just want to isolate, like, I know that he says he's 100% on both. Yeah, it's coming at you pretty loud. And like when I listen to it, also, it's quite loud on like the playback. So let's do check 1, 2, 3, check 1, 2, 3. And then his speakers go super loud. So Negi says I'm listening on speakers, so it sounds fine. This is the kind of shit that I want to hammer out before we even get into this whole thing. So I'm going to listen to myself once more. Oh. Huh. Yeah, honestly, flush cutters specifically. Cool. Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, that's coming in at full volume. If you're flush cutting. So Logic, check and make sure that your volume is up and that the little volume icon. Yeah, that's as loud as I would want to have it. So the other place that you want to look on your system, if it's a Windows machine, is just check in the control panel and make sure that you haven't set an overall level for Chrome or that specific tab. And then I'd try opening the stream in another browser real quick and see if that shit works out. So it seems like it's okay for Negi. It sounds fine to Hotline. I could make it louder. Should I make it louder though? Because one of the reasons why it's down here is, and now I'm like talking louder to make one of the reasons down here so that I have some room to move up without clipping. That didn't even fucking clip. All right, let me go give us another fucking 6 decibels, and we'll see what comes of it. The music scene has got me down. Okay, so now I should be real fucking loud. Yeah, like, so I just gave us another, yeah, I can hear it on the dynamics there. So this is louder. And it's about as loud as I can go without just constantly clipping and overmodulating. I can run it through another compressor, definitely within my. I think pretty soon I'll do like a tour of the studio because I almost have the fucking thing cleaned up, which I've been working on for 1 year. But yeah, I'll do like a tour of the studio for patrons and so forth, so they can see all the crazy shit that I'm working with in here, and we'll soon have to get rid of. There's a problem for him before too. Well, definitely, I would try it out in a different browser. I'd try the Twitch stream and see if it's like YouTube specific or whatever there. The other part about this is that there's like a relatively narrow frequency range that we're hitting here with the editing stream. It's going to be from maybe like about mostly around like the 5,000 hertz range, just because that's where human voice is really hitting at. And nothing else is going to be in there because it's not like I'm fucking singing and dancing here. There's no music, there's no real bass or anything to speak of. So if you have an equalizer somewhere in your circuit and it's toning down mid range, that will completely gut this. It's weirdly not on LRH. Well, on LRH, we're playing music too, is one of the things. We use almost exactly the same microphone for LRH, and the levels that come in are usually peaking around the same thing. So I'll do like a little investigating because I believe you that that your shit is fucked up, but and you're like one of the most important editors of all time there. I think you like were second place behind Spathiwa in the last edit there. But so I made everybody a little intro for this whole thing. And normally I'm going to do that when I'm like linking everybody to the stream. But because it's the first stream of this thing, I just wanted to play the intro in its entirety. So enjoy the intro, and then we're going to edit this up. No, you're not derailing this at all. And this is like very important to me to get the levels and everything right, because we're going to do 28 of these streams probably. 190 is going to take it probably like about 28 days to do this. Like we'll probably every day in February we'll be doing this bullshit. And if it's fucked up at the beginning, it's fucked up every single one of those days, and I got to go back and edit and suck my own dick. You know, it's not a lot of fun for the kid. So yeah, this is and honestly, like I just want you to remember your contributions to Lemon Maybe and Gravid and all the other books were part of what made them good. So, you know, it's like I don't want to drive off and one of the cylinders on my car isn't firing. You know what I'm saying? So I'll do anything I can to tech support that. But for now, listen to the intro, and this should actually be quieter because it's just piano music. Gorgeous. Yeah. So let me explain a little of the making of the intro, since people are kind of interested there. So I do um, that kind of poured whatever art. It's all over my goddamn house. Like every girl that fucks me has to come over and be like, "What are these weird paintings everywhere? What's wrong with this dude?" Um, but it's something that I've been doing for like a number of years, and I have like a bunch of wacky techniques with it. So Negi is right. That's paint coming out of a tube, but I just want to give you an idea of the scale. That is a 3/4 inch pipe that I tore off of a bed frame that was like sitting on somebody's stoop, like leaned up against it. I like found it one morning. The deal was that I had done an intro for this live stream, and I didn't really like it. It was the same kind of idea, but just the execution was kind of shitty on it. So I didn't like it, and I was like a little bit frustrated. Like when I try to do, like when I have an idea and I can't quite get it across, it really puts me in a bad mood because it's just my own ineptitude that I can't get the idea across. And so it was bugging me for like a couple of days. I showed it to a few people, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's kind of nice," or whatever. It's going too fast. And I thought and thought about it, and then I came up with this idea to do this with a pipe, because previously it had been the funnel had been behind the camera, and it was like dripping down, and it just didn't quite work the same way. I'll show you guys the fucked up intro at some point if you want. But yeah, so I was like walking along, and I saw this pipe, and inspiration struck, and I went back to my house and got some tools and jimmied this pipe out of there. It was like 4 a.m. that I'm out like fucking around with this pipe, and people walking by are like, What's this fool doing with this bed frame?" But the pipe was exactly like the perfect size for this whole thing, and it actually gave me a bunch of new ideas for how to do this. Um, so I have an old Vestax PDX 3000 turntable that I use when I'm painting. And so that is on top of a turntable, and there's a piece of canvas on top of it. And there's like a little thing that it rests on, and so forth. So the pipe juts out to about the center of the canvas. The camera's pointed straight down at it. And I record while like there's a funnel hooked up to that pipe. And I'm like applying paint in different layers, because the paints are different densities due to the pigments that are in them. Like the white paint is particularly light. No, I think it's particularly dense because there's titanium in it. It's titanium white. And so the different densities stacking on top of each other introduces a weird fluid motion into this that you'll see with people that do this kind of painting. It's called the Rayleigh. What's the other? Rayleigh-Taylor instability, where liquids of different densities create this strange-looking blooming motion when they're stacked on top of each other. So oh shit, it's big oaks right over there. So the air, like where you see it like rippling and so forth, is me actually blasting it with an air compressor. Because like I couldn't blow anywhere near. The paint is actually very thick and dense. So yeah, I just have an air compressor, and I'm like blasting it with the hose, and you can see in some parts where the canvas starts to rotate because it's getting blasted so hard with the air. And that's pretty much the sum of how that whole thing was done. And then the other part of it was like I finally, in the recent version of Premiere, they made time stretching much easier. So instead of just doing this like half-assed, like slicing up and time rating and so forth, I actually learned how to correctly use the time stretching, and it's just much smoother than previous attempts. So yeah, everybody. So Lord Rayleigh comes up many places in this story. So I'm going to give you a little background from the story. So here's our epigraph right here. This is 198 pages. It's XEROS. This is like my 11th or 12th novel at this point. But Rayleigh sounds like a black girl's name. And the actual Lord Rayleigh is like the antithesis of everything black girls stand for, I guess. They can't stand fluid dynamics, or they just hate it so much. No, but so here's XEROS right here. And the epigraph for this book, I think it has 2 epigraphs because I'm an asshole. So actually, now I remember why there are 2 epigraphs. So one thing that we may do with this book that's new is I may put out 2 editions, a white edition and a black edition. And the ending may be different depending on what edition you purchase, and there's going to be nothing to indicate which has which ending, right? So that's an idea that I have, It seems a little bit gimmicky to me, but when we get to the ending, I'm going to let you guys decide whether or not you think it's a good idea. I think it'd be kind of cool. I haven't seen that done before, because the book is going to hinge on a decision. So, wait. I disagree about the song WAP. That's about fluid dynamics. So he thinks the girls are coming around to it. He may be right there. I'm not fucking with any vaginas that have a lamellar flow or whatever. That's too much. I want the one where everyone dies. Well, I'm gonna clue you in on a just a little foreshadowing. Everyone dies no matter what in the entire universe. That's just how it fucking goes. So here are the two epigraphs, and one is going to be for each of the two things for the white and black editions. So the first epigraph is, "Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities." And that's by our homie Voltaire, the original IRCer. And then, "Long is the way and hard that out of hell leads up to light." And that's by our boy John Milton in Paradise Lost. Which I'm going to admit that I'm not a big, I've not actually read Paradise Lost. And I should find like an annotated edition, because he comes up all the time. Everybody references him and Lord Bolton, or Lord something or other. I think Lord Bolton is from Game of Thrones, but Negi has a better epigraph. Oh God, you haven't even read the book, Negi. How could you have a better epigraph? So this is a book about prisoners on a space station. And I'm not. They're in this country. It's good to kill an admiral to encourage the others. No, that's not going to fit with this whole thing. But so the nice thing is, as you read this story or listen to this story, those epigraphs will make more and more sense, and the intro will make more and more sense. So a little backstory. This story is told from one character's point of view the entire time. That character's name is Traitor. All the characters in this are given a name according to their crimes, and these are all inmates at a military prison that's in space. If you want like a time setting for this book, it's about 500 or 600 years into the future. So just like background on this, like faster than light travel exists as a result of like some kind of like punching through hyperspace type situation right there. And I think that's all you really need to know. The rest of it will be revealed throughout the course of the story right here. So in terms of this edit, the main things that I want to focus on is I don't think I worry that our main character is not likable enough, because you spend the entire time in the main character's head, and the main character is like a person who has like a lot of self-hate. He's definitely a masochist. He's definitely like a weird fucking, he's not somebody you would want to sit next to in the lunch table. And one of the mistakes I think that we made with Gravid, which is, by the way, completely unsellable. All that work that we put into the book, throw it the fuck out the window. That book cannot, I would have to be so much more famous to sell that book. Like I need to sell like 3 or 4 other winners, and then I have to like browbeat an agency. I'm like, if you don't publish this fucking novel, I'm done with you. That's the only way I can get a major publisher to sink their teeth into it, because it's so depressing. Well, this book is less depressing. So I tried to learn from that mistake. But one of the pitfalls that I don't want to fall into is I don't want people to hate this fucking character. And there's a decent chance that they will hate this character. So one of my ideas for dealing with that was just having places where he dwells on sort of the beauty that's inherent even in his dismal surroundings. Like one of my favorite books is A Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, which is by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. And it's about another prisoner who is doing similar amounts of like hard labor. Hold on, let me take a look at all this. Future prisons. There are many Star Trek episodes. Let me see. Thinking of the astronomy. I'm telling you, Logic. So Logic, actually, there are a lot of questions I have about solar physics that deal with this novel right here. Logic actually knows this girl who is an astronomer of some sort, and he used to rail her on weekends, and she was like really, really cute in some ways. And it was like a great lay, but he lost contact with her because Logic leads a freewheeling lifestyle. So we're trying to get her back into the fold, and he's searching for her, but he hasn't been able to find her. And I keep urging Logic to find this lady so that she can give us tips on how the sun actually works. I also tweeted at Neil Tyson deGrasse offering him an honorary membership in the GNAA if he would tell me the secrets of the universe, but he has not replied yet. It's a fucking shame. Don't do some gay shit where it's all in their head. No, I can't stand that fucking horse shit where it's all in their heads. Everything that happens in the story actually happens. I think there might be like one dream sequence in it, but anytime I do a dream sequence, there's at least like somebody fucking somebody else in it, so it's worth going through. I hate dream sequences. I hate flashbacks. I hate fucking time travel. Throw that shit out the window. It's garbage. I can't stand amnesia and so forth. All these like hack fucking storytelling tools. I just can't stand that shit. Not in the slightest. So I'm with you. I'm on board. I don't want any of that bullshit in my books. I don't. Yeah, we do have a bunch of people, physics people in the math server. We may have to tap some of those people because I don't even have a high school education. Like I got thrown out of high school. I have never. I think I like flunked out of trig. I have no math whatsoever to speak of. And this is all just like what I can piece together off of Wikipedia. Or am I saying that Voyager is a terrible every one of the Star Treks has done some terrible sins. And it's like, it's unavoidable when you have like 30 different people writing, because one of those people is going to be a fucking hack. And one of those people is going to be feeling themselves, even if they're a good writer, and be like, yeah, I can get away with using this tired old fucking trope. And like they were writing at a time where these things were less saturated, right? So you could get away with more of this bullshit. But I'm not doing that nonsense. And just to let you know, there's a blizzard happening right outside of my window. I went around, I put on my cloak this morning and trudged around in the new snow. And everybody's looking at me funny, but fuck those guys. This is exactly the weather that cloaks were designed for. It's perfect. It's like a ton of warmth around you. Just sloughs off the snow when the wind's beating around you. And anybody fucking messes with me, I'll just cast magic missile and be out of here. Ugh. I can complain day and night about what's wrong with Voyager. Well, we got the whole crew here. I should just play the intro again and get out of here. All right. So now we're actually starting the stream. What fucking time is it? It's 7:37. So our goal is going to be to get through about 10 pages a day if we really want to make it in February, because we know sometimes we'll have to redo the whole thing. Every chapter is going to be about 7 pages. So chapter 0, and just to give you some foreknowledge, this is something that I had further in the book, and I moved it back to be the introduction, so it may be no goddamn good. So this is the Dicta Bolka. I don't know how to... Hold on, let me see. How do you actually pronounce this horse shit? Oh, you know what? Let's not even... I'm just going to say it wrong. How would you say that? I'd say the Dicta Bolka. 20 inches of snow by Tuesday. Oh, fuck. Fuck me. It sucks. I'm going to be digging myself out for weeks. I got to go to the supermarket. I'm out of food, too. This could be a rough time for your boy, Load Radio. And this is going to drive me... I should have the screen should move over a little bit, I think. But, all right, let me know if you have any issues with this stream. 2 well-endowed men or 3 averagely endowed. Oh, shit, what do we got here?
$1, $11, I am good at math. Let's get this started with a big bang.
Oh, big 11. Thank you for the $11, Spathy. Okay, and we'll have to make a new leaderboard and everything. If you haven't been on one of these editing streams before, I've already made the Word document, but we'll fix it up a little bit here. So we have a leaderboard. So every time somebody suggests an edit, and it's approved by me, you get a point. If your edit is amazing, and I think you were amazing, I'll give you 2 points. And if you're way fucking behind in points and do something amazing, I'll give you 5 points. But that's like a catch-up mechanism. You have to be way behind everybody else. And I keep tabs of these. And when the book is published, if I can remember all this shit, I will put the leaderboard in it and thank each of you personally, and maybe make some like gay innuendo about you there. Even in the snow, Tell me which editor this is. This is Pages, right? And it's running on an old 2015 MacBook with a bulging lithium-ion battery that might explode at any fucking time. I got to replace this fucking thing. But you know where they just develop that fucking bulge and then they pop eventually. Ugh, I'd be so sad if it scorched this table too. I gotta try and get another one out of the fucking graveyard at some point this week. So again, this is XEROS. This is day number 1, and I'm Zach ZYZ. You can find more of this. Solar fluid dynamic. Oh, did they do something about the fucking sun? So Negi is saying, how long are you going to do this? I'm going to try to do one chapter today for another 2 hours or something like that. Anyhow, let me just get to it. So I don't, when I'm like reading through this and so forth, I'm going to be looking over to see your comments, but I can't respond instantaneously, especially when I'm rewriting stuff. So this is chapter 0, the dicta bulk. I'm just gonna say Balecki because that sounds hilarious to me. I'm probably pronouncing this shit wrong, but we're gonna do it. Chapter 0, the dicta bolek. Bolek. 5 minutes of space separated me from the interceptor squadron. My life started to flash before my eyes, but I blinked it away. I didn't want to watch the rerun. Instead, I gazed at the growing silver ring where death waited, captivated by the idea that this might be the final stroke. If I died, the Hezo was finished. Tai D would never permit this sort of idiocy again. Against the oppressive acceleration, the corners of my mouth twisted into a grin. It was perfect. My place in history would be secured. I was the last dogfighter. The first dogfight took place in 1913 during the Mexican Revolution. So I think, do we have a comma here at 1913? 13, comma after instead. Fuck. How far back was that? Oh yeah, that is a comma after instead. So Logic with his first of many comma points to come. What the fuck is this? Oh no, did it break the whole thing? That's a crazy fucking effect right there. So Logic had this like custom image, but it broke at some point. So Logic has 1 point there. Oh, can we make sure that like whatever API was happening doesn't break our previous integration and add points to the fucking other thing? I'm just gonna make the coin sound until there. Corners of my mouth twisted into a grin. I think that's. I don't know how I feel about that right there. Let's try both ways. Against the oppressive acceleration, the corners of my mouth twisted into a grin. Against the oppressive acceleration, the corners of my mouth drew into a grin. We're gonna have it fucking twist here. Just because it's like a more active verb and has more twisting is more painful than drawing for the most part. Keep in mind, as we're doing this, we want to avoid passive language wherever possible. I have to go write my book. It's called XEROS 2. See you later. Good luck, Jira. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so the first dogfight took place in 1913. I don't think there's a comma there. No, yeah, I want that period there. That's a full stop there. In fact, I would almost make that its own paragraph. So that's how strongly I feel it should be a full stop. Okay, so Spathy was going to reset the leaderboard today. Yeah, I forget how that integration worked, so we'll have to work for it. Do you think that is a comma? Yeah, it feels right. Damn it. So two. Okay, so the coin at least works. I forget what we had for optional comma since it's a whole sentence. Yeah, let's just. The first dogfight took place in 1913 during the Mexican Revolution. The planes were Curtiss and Christopherson pushers, only slightly advanced from the Wright Flyer 1 that had first taken wing at Kitty Hawk 10 years before. Two airborne idiots took potshots at each other with revolvers. Both missed. A year later, the first dogfighting victory was claimed during the first week of World War One. Fuck. No comma over 1913. I'll go to jail after it. Nix the brand names. No, it's that has to be in there. Like, because this is like a history chapter, kind of giving the background of dogfighters and so forth. This is military science fiction, and the reader for military science fiction is going to be very interested in military history, wherever we can put it at. They're like generally the audience that we're writing for is going to really get their rocks off at like this little tidbit of history here. Like I like the names of these planes. So anyhow, a year later, the first dogfighting victory was claimed during the first week of World War One. A Russian pilot named Pyotr Nestorov rammed his Marine Parasol into a hapless Austrian albatross, killing both men. And so albatross is spelled incorrectly here. And I just to get into like some of the dynamics of like how, so we italicize Flyer 1 because it's the proper name of the vessel, right? We don't italicize things like Marine Parasol and Austrian albatross because it's the type of thing. And albatross would be spelled wrong here, but this is how it's actually, the historical plane is spelled. So yeah, it's probably 1908 and not 1903, but which is an interesting note, whoever it was. But so anyhow, a year later, the first dogfighting victory was claimed. Oh, this should be a pair. During the first week of World War One, a Russian. Oh, why is there a period there? Oh, that's why. Oh, that's why we did it that way. All right, so during the first week of World War One, a Russian pilot named Pyotr Nestorov rammed his Marine Parasol into a hapless Austrian albatross. This is so hard. A Russian pilot named Pyotr Nestorov rammed his Marine Parasol into a hapless Austrian albatross, killing both men. All right, so let me see what our note is here. Oh, yeah, I decided to just have the whole name in there. All right, so there's two ways to do the sentence. The planes were Curtiss and Christopherson. Okay, the combatants flew Curtiss and Christopherson pushers. I don't like the combatants flew. Yeah. I don't have an idea of how to fix that. I don't know how fucking. You think that's better? Let's see, one thing I don't like about it. No, I like. I don't want to get into the pilots because we established later that there are two airborne idiots right there. Albatross, Flugswerk, Albatross. Are you serious? Albatross, Flugswerk, Albatross. Is that fucking accurate? If it is, I like the Flugswerk. All right, let me take a look. Oh yeah. Let me see. Although they didn't call them. They were just albatross. I like yeah, but it was an Austrian pilot. Like they made the plane in Germany. Um, yeah, let's take a look. Fly Thing Factory. Yeah. Let's see. No, I think we don't put in Flugswerk because that's too much. Um, and we're just gonna keep this like this here. Although I do think it was a pretty good suggestion from Negi, so I'm gonna give him a point just the same because that's the kind of shit that I want to see, even though it wasn't accepted. I still think it was a great suggestion and drew like some historical parallels there. Let's take a look. We're getting deeper into it. Yeah, so it was part of the Austro-Hungarian um, Kaiserliche König Luftwaffe. Yeah, we don't. There's a limit for how much history we can cram into this motherfucker right here without losing the whole thing. So this paragraph, it's like me expending like a little bit of credit. Like, will you read a whole paragraph about World War One? Hopefully, yes. And then we're gonna get into the tragic comedy has been escalating ever since. The bloody space battles at the Eye of Dagon and Dagio are barely skirmishes compared to the vast wars of our forefather. All right, let's take a look. It's called an Albatross DI. What does the fucking DI stand for? Mm. Oh, a D1. That's the model? Is that the specific one that Pyotr Nestorov? Because I would put in D1. Yeah, like we let's take a look. He was an aircraft designer, aeronautics pioneer, legacy. Yeah, it was actually a B2, uh, Moraine Saulnier Type G. Oh, this is kind of cool. During the Battle of Galicia, um, Moraine Saulnier Type G, uh, Austrian Albatross B1. All right, so let's just yeah, yeah. I don't want to put in Saulnier, but let's take a look. Was the Type G called a parasol? Yeah, so yeah, the L right there. So that sucks. Marine Saulnier Type G. Yeah, it's a whole different fucking plane. 8 millimeter Hotchkiss. Hold on. So I've read Parasol. Marine Parasol. Type G. Yeah, it seems like it's definitely a Type G. What am I missing right there? Don't put in the details, but if we can't verify them. Yeah, so we're going to use a B2 there, and we're going to put a Type G. Okay, so during the first week of World War One, a Russian pilot named Pyotr Nestorov rammed his Marine Type G into a hapless Austrian Albatross B2, killing both men. Okay, I hate that we lose Moraine Parasol because I loved that it was like parasol, because a parasol, you think of it like is like light and airy and fluffy and peaceful, and he just fucking rams it into the albatross. Like that image was so cool to me, and it's one of the reasons why I originally included it here. So, all right, so you and I know that the plane was not actually a parasol, but for the purposes of the story, we're going to include, because it's 500 years in the future. Done. Yeah, nobody knows what the fuck a moraine is right there. I like the parasol. So the parasol was like a similar plane, and this is something where nerds will be like, actually, with the Type G, and they'll argue about it on the internet. So that's free publicity for me. Um, so there we go. So anyhow, although I do like that we included the B2. Who was the one who was complaining that it sounded weird initially? A lot of people did work there. Um, yeah, I'm gonna put that into the point that Negi got right there. Okay, yeah. So Negi put some work into this whole thing here. I'm gonna give him an extra point for the effort that went in. Oh wait, also let me make this font bigger. First, it's really important that do we not have Comic Sans on this system? No, there it is. All right, so Comic Sans, and there we go. Let me get it where y'all can fucking read it right there. So Logic and Negi right there. That's important. So here, the tragicomedy has been escalating ever since. The bloody space battles at the Eye of Dagon and Dagio. I wonder if you italicize battles. Yeah, are battles italicized? Nope. Cool. That's good to know. Oh, cool. So Mayheim is gonna fool. Shout out to Mayheim for me if you can. That was so cool to have like the leaderboard and everything set up there. The bloody space battles. Okay, so another thing that you might need to know about this that will be helpful, and it's really like I would love to get somebody in here who understands Chinese at all. Most of the names in this story are going to be Chinese derived, right? The culture that these people are a part of is like an extension of Chinese culture some 500 years from now. So many of the names that are going to be included right here, like Dagio, I think, fuck, I should have written this down, but I think it might be Arcturus. Yeah, it's definitely Arcturus. It's their name for the star Arcturus. So star names here are going to kind of phase between different designations, like things like Groombridge and so forth. Those are seen as imperialist star designations, and they frequently will revert back to the old Chinese names for the stars. Yeah, if they get interested in this Negi and want to be involved, like it would be awesome. I actually know a Chinese to English translator that I might try and bounce some of these ideas off of, because it just every time that you use any part of Chinese culture in your writing, you're gonna fuck it up if you're a Westerner. That's one thing that I've learned right there. It's very, very difficult to get some of their associations and so forth right. They're very, very culturally foreign to your average burger clap, which is me. But I want to get it right, so we got to get a Chinaman up in here, and that he has to not hear me saying Chinaman, which I guess is offensive now. Didn't used to be. No, it was always awful. The bloody space battles at the Eye of Dagon and Dagio are barely skirmishes compared to the vast wars of our forefathers. Greatest of them all was Blazar, the final confrontation between the sundered UNESCO navies. Two implacable armadas clashed, furious as colliding galaxies. For 11 apocalyptic months, the two sides tore themselves apart, until the very fabric of space-time began to fray. 5 million ships thrown into the fire as fast as either side could build them. Let's see. I have a pretty long-term lay that's fluent in Chinese and does that as her thing. She knows Northerner culture and everything. Oh, interesting there. Yeah, anybody who is interested in editing and wants to help out with the Chinese parts of this, oh, that'd be awesome. But it's a huge pain in the ass. Aratus Alpha and Beta are gone now, swallowed by a ceaseless interstellar storm. Nothing that flies in ever returns. Astronomers created a new designation for Ares-type nebulae, those born of war. They weren't fools. They knew there would be others. All right, comma after months, according to logic. Oh yeah, that's definitely a comma. See, logic is rich on these fucking commas. Because it's the number one thing that I fuck up is commas after time. I think is going to be the number one errors. I think we had like 500 or 600 comma edits in Lemon, maybe minimum. There might have been 1,000 fucked up commas in that book. Yeah, I can already see like places where the real editor is going to come in and be. It's the only thing I know about, so it works out. Well, I still don't know it, so. This paragraph is a little hokey for this early in the story, where I haven't really established how space fighting works, but we'll take a look. If only I could have been there. Of all the forbidden subjects, history was my favorite. If only I could get past this squadron. If only I could have been there. Of all the forbidden subjects, history was my favorite. If only there was some way to slip past this squadron. I would be reborn as a spirit of war. I could drift across the greatest battlefields of all time, drinking in the suffering of the ages. I could go questing into prehistory, seeking the root of all evil. 1,000,000 years ago, some dark-eyed Zhang, hefting a sharpened stone in his simian hand. Let's see. Italicize the first sentence as emphasis. How's that track with italics? Let's not italicize right there, as it changes a little bit about what's going on there. I like breaking it into its own paragraph, just to give the reader some time to dwell on it there. So let's try this paragraph again. If only I could have been there, because it has an exclamation point, right? This is the guy coming to a conclusion in his mind, and then we had an exclamation point right after it, which is too much. So, and Spathy Watt has a completely different. Oh, shout out to Spiritual Mike 418 right there, now following us from Lord only knows. But yeah, welcome to the stream. We're gonna do this every day in February until this book is edited, maybe longer if I'm slow. Of all the forbidden subjects, history was my favorite. If only there was some way to slip past this squadron. I would be reborn as a spirit of war. Yeah, that really needs that. If only there was some way to slip past this squadron and complete the mission. I would be reborn as a spirit of war. I could drift across the greatest battlefields of all time, drinking in the suffering of the ages. I could go questing into prehistory, seeking the root of all evil. 1,000,000 years ago, some dark-eyed Zhang, hefting a sharpened stone in his simian hand. Okay, so what are we getting into here? So Zhang is kind of a Chinese word for older brother or stepbrother, and it always has kind of like a negative, brutish association with it right there. I found it while like reading through this article about Cain and Abel and some of the parallels into Chinese myth. Um, so, I mean, I think you should bring back the Pasta Squadron. Um, so we're getting kind of exclamation happy if we do that. Oh, I really do not like an exclamation point there. Um, yeah, it just doesn't fucking track for me. But uh, both logic and Spaethiwa. Well, let's read it both ways. If only there was some way to slip past this squadron and complete the mission. If only I could have been there. Of all the forbidden subjects, history was my favorite. Yes, so this is the problem right here. Yeah, let's cut this. Uh, and okay. Let's try calling from the South Carolina. Get out of South Cackalack right there. Uh, if I could only slip past this squadron and complete the mission, I would be reborn as a spirit of war. Of all the forbidden subjects, history was my favorite. I could spend yeah, I think we have to cut of all the forbidden subjects. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I think this works a little bit better. It sucks too because I hate losing the nod that history is a forbidden subject. But yeah, I think we just got to trim that shit out. By the way, Strunk does not apply to fiction writing. Elements of Style is about non-fiction writing, and I hate. There's good advice in it for fiction writing, but keep in mind that it does not apply to speculative fiction, and you just wind up writing like fucking Hemingway if you follow that shit to the T. So yeah, if history is definitely forbidden. Yeah, let's just clam it there. So writing like I love Steinbeck. Oh, I just realized I'm wearing the fucking Hemingway shirt at the moment. There, my favorite book of all time is a Steinbeck book. I think he's a G, really and truly. Uh, if only I could have been there. If I could just slip past this squadron. If I could somehow slip past this squadron and complete the mission, I would be reborn as the spirit of war. I could spend eternity drifting across the greatest battlefields of all time, drinking in the suffering of the ages. I could go questing into prehistory, seeking the root of all evil, million years ago, some dark-eyed Zhang, hefting a sharpened stone in his simian hand. Because there was that one monkey, like long, like Areo Australopithecus, like some early Hamid turned to another dude with a rock in his hand, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take that motherfucking banana. Clonk. Um, there had to be a root of all evil, the original Cain. So what did I write in the comments for here? Chinese for older brother, meant to have a Cain and Abel feel. So yeah, I'm glad I could remember that. I wanted to know it all, everything the Hezo had tried to erase. I wanted to know it all, everything the Hezo had erased. Most of all, I wanted to see the first of my kind, the pilots. Those madmen who took to the skies and fought a world war in the days where we had just one war to one world to lose. Zhang is like a dark-eyed. Yeah. So, no, like so hefting there is like it's the moment because we're talking about the root of all evil, right? Evil isn't the act of just clonking somebody with a stone, right? Evil is the moment where he's considering doing it and like making the decision to murder somebody for some of that monkey pussy, right? That moment right there, where he's like, you know what? That's the root of all evil to me, not to everybody, but to me, that's the spot where we really want to get in on it. So it's not without intent, and that's why we have the verb heft there. Some swarthy young. Also, they're dark-eyed because they're Chinese. That's what color their eyes are. It really is. Oh, I fucking hate when I go on dates with Chinese girls and they have like fucking contacts in, and I'm like, those are not your eyes. Um, yeah, well, holding the sharpened stone could also be the root of using tools. That's all. Those are all good implications to have in there. Hefting a sharpened stone. Yeah, I like it how it is. Honestly, we're gonna keep that one there. I wanted to know it all, everything the Hezo had erased. Most of all, I wanted to see the first of my kind, the pilots. Those madmen who took to the skies and fought a world war in the days where we had just one world to lose. Really like this distinction where it's like a world war, and it's so different when you got like 20 different worlds. Like, let's throw one of these fuckers away. But the idea that like that conflagration is the only world that we've got. I like that distinction. The lessons we learned in those first fumbling dogfights are still being recited centuries later. Every combat pilot carries their legacy, pieces of shrapnel lodged too deep to ever work their way out. Maybe too much there. Like that's like borderline hokey, but hopefully I can get away with it. I was a fitting end to this saga, a fool tilting at a star, blasting everything into subatomic bits, accomplishing nothing whatsoever. The utter quixotry. No. We got to keep it too, right? Because he barks a mad laugh into the compression fluid. Where's recited? No, recited is exactly what we want there. Okay, so one note I'll make for Negi is if we anytime, yeah, re-experience something synonymous with rehashed. Well, let's try a few different things there. But yeah, you did it there. Just anytime that you're like, this feels awkward to me or whatever, always try to have a suggestion to go in its place there, which you've done here. But that's just a general. Well, so the subject of the sentence is the lessons, not the dogfights. Like, we're not reciting dogfights. The lessons we learned in those first fumbling dogfights are still being recited centuries later. So that's why we have it recited right there. Um, so yeah, rehash is not quite what we want there. Re-experience, reincarnated, like retold, um, recited is what I want there. And you'll see why we use recited like a little bit further down the road. So it will be helpful later on. So this sentence, we get hokey two places right here. Every combat pilot carries their legacy. Pieces of shrapnel lodged too deep to ever work their way out. I like that image, right? And I think if this were literary fiction, we couldn't use that image because it's just too fucking, whatever. Um, but um, yeah, you can be a little bit more corny in military science fiction than you can be in other stuff because they kind of take themselves a little too seriously. You know what I mean? Um, this is sadly like we already did our Starship Troopers earlier last year in Space Tards. But this character does take himself like a little bit too seriously, and so some of the things that he says, like I'm like, oh my god, peak cringe. But wait, no, like this is no. It's like every combat pilot carries their legacy. It's the legacy of those lessons, not the legacy of the combat pilot. So we do have subject pronoun agreement there. Um, and in fact, legacy here probably is about those first fumbling dogfights more than the lessons right there. The lessons are what's being recited. The legacy is the legacy of those first fumbling dogfights. So you can see these two here. Um, yeah, I'm okay with this. I think we're getting too deep into minutiae there, um, which is okay. Like it's always good to bring up points and so forth. But uh, I'll just level with you right here. Xeros is not as good of a book as like Lemon Maybe is. Lemon Maybe set like a really high bar, and our goal for Xeros is like we want to make it to 90, right? Xeros right now is like 75. We want to polish it up to 90, right? I don't think Xeros can hit 100, but I could be wrong. Maybe we'll have like an amazing. I might be too down on myself. Lemon Maybe is 100, right? That book is exactly what I want it to be. It does everything that I want. It's the best thing I've ever written. Um, should we make this book neggy digestible? You're not driving me crazy, and anybody who is like putting their 2 cents in is helpful. But also, I'm getting back into this. This is the first editing that I've done in several months. So the first session is me like feeling out where I want to be and so forth. So don't feel shy at all about giving edits or whatever you've got there. Just don't also feel bad if we can't take every one. And also, like, I'm trying to get into a rhythm with this whole thing, and it's like it's a weird thing that we're doing. So it's going to be tough. So hello Alexis 04. Welcome to the chat right here. I'm Zach ZYZ. We're editing my like 12th or 13th. The numbers just keep climbing, but it's at least my 10th book right here. This is a book about military prison, and it's called XEROS. So you can figure out some of what it's all about. All right, let's take a look at this right here. So I was a fitting end to the saga, a fool tilting at a star, blasting every. Mm. Let's check this out. Yeah, like one, it's foreshadowing too hard. Two, I barked a mad laugh into the compression fluid for me alone. Okay, I like that a little bit better. So, oh, the Adderall hasn't kicked in yet. Yeah, tilting here means tilting and jousting. So this is, I just wanted to use the word Quixote here. But yeah, so this is just an allusion to Don Quixote. Um, yeah, tilting does mean charging as in jousting, and this is a allusion to Don Quixote, and he charges at the windmills that he thinks are giants. Well, now he's just laughing at the fact that he's like sallying forth and tilting at a star. Um, yeah, and I don't want my trenchant. Listen to this faggot. My trenchant abandon was short lived. The sun loomed ever larger. The sun loomed ever larger in my canopy. The interceptors glittered in weight, positioned around the ring like shark teeth. Ooh, I don't like that. Yeah, hold on. Also, like I like the fact that he's in compression fluid. We get into that like a little bit later, but he's hooked up to like a the abyss type oxygenated fluid system, um, which to me is cool. All right, hold on. Let me just make sure nobody's fucking bothering me here. Hell yeah. No, I think I'm gonna leave it as shark teeth. My trenchant abandon was short lived. The sun loomed ever larger in my canopy. Interceptors glittered in weight, positioned around the. So here's the problem. I don't know how well established the ring is right here. Growing silver ring where death waited. Okay. I wonder if we should say what kind of trench coat trench coat Avedon. Oh, I love it there. That's fucking dope. I would go see that band live. All right. The interceptors glittered in weight, positioned around the ring like shark teeth. Desperation tightened in my throat. There must be some way to survive. Surely there was some angle I'd missed, some tactic I hadn't considered. I couldn't slow down enough to activate the stealth field. I would burn up. Setting isn't established enough to say, well, this is also the first chapter, right? We can have some questions in the first chapter where, like, compression fluid, what the fuck is he talking about there? Why isn't that explained? Um, but it may not be established enough. All right, let's now in my canopy. So he's like in a fighter plane at this point. So the sun is just like taking up more and more space um, beyond his canopy. He's like flying towards the sun. But surely there was some angle I'd missed, some tactic I hadn't considered. I couldn't slow down enough to activate my stealth field. I would burn up. The destroyer at my back was gaining. I closed my eyes, praying for a sign from God, Tai D, anyone. No one answered. I felt hollow. My chest was a resonant cavity for my racing heartbeat. Ooh, ooh, that's not good at all. Oh yeah, ever larger should not at all be hyphenated. That's a good one. Hold on. Let's just save myself some time later on. Good edit. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah, there's that edit. Uh, oh yeah, I think that's a great place to take out the contraction because it's just so much more clarity. Yeah, so yeah, this is what I was talking about right here. Okay, So Spathy up to 2. Logic still in the lead. Desperation tightened in my throat. No one answered. I felt hollow. Old memories kept springing up, trying to break through my drug-fueled fixation. The silver ring of death in the distance became the iris of a cold gray eye. Okay. Does Spathi? Oh, I didn't. I never knew the origin of Spathiwa. Maybe it's like some Wu Tang Liquid Swords type thing right there. I couldn't slow down enough to activate my stealth field. I would burn up. The destroyer at my back was gaining. Um, I closed my eyes, praying for a sign from God or Tai D. God, Tai D, or anyone. Oh, I don't like this. I closed my eyes, praying for a sign from God, Tai D, or anyone. What? It's Star Control too? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Runs on whatever you use to watch YouTube. I never played Star Control. Wait, hold on. Also, was there a space? Yeah, there was a space in front of it. That's what I didn't like. I closed my eyes, praying for a sign. No, it's just got to anyone. No one answered. I felt hollow. Old memories kept springing up, trying to break through my drug-fueled fixation. The silver ring of death became the iris of a cold gray eye. uh, uh, the XEROS, that great human furnace of hatred, blazing with anime the moment he ooh-wooed at me. Ugh. Yeah, let's of hatred. Furnace of hatred. What the fuck? What are we doing? Yeah, that's got to go. Um, should Suros be italicized? No, no, it's a name. That's italicizing there is like a stylistic choice, and I'm gonna be kind of I generally only tend to italicize things that are things people are thinking in stories. I seldom italicize for emphasis. Um, that great human furnace, blazing with animus the moment he saw me. Somehow, comma, he knew all along I was the one. The other inmates were only props, cast aside the instant their use was through. I was his tool, a lance hurled at the eye of God. The idea left me twisting with want. I wanted that. Yeah. We don't need that at all. The idea left me twisting with want. I wanted to be used. I wanted to be expended. 3 minutes to impact. 3 minutes to certain death. I shut my eyes and let my mind run wild. Well, he's narrating here. Okay, so let's scroll back to where we're at right here. So we got through 2 pages. This has been, we started at 7:47. It's been almost an hour to go. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so I'm getting about 700 words an hour right here, which is okay because we're just, we're just warming up here. So we do. This is like our introduction chapter right here. Typically, we italicize thoughts in third person, but this is like it's a first person thought. I don't think it's italicized. Um, uh, okay, so now we start getting into this first part here is like it's pretty expository. And there's going to be a lot of exposition in this book. You know, it's science fiction. It's a single character perspective and so forth. Touch my hefty's young. uh, yeah. We'll get into a flow with this thing. I'm gonna remember what it's all about. Already, I can feel like the engine is ramping up. So, um, like the first part of this story is just like the character, and it's time wise, we're like at the very end of the story, right? This is the very first part of this is like fast forwarding to, I want to say, 80% of the way through the book, right? And then we're going to the very, 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 very start of it all right here. So it's kind of like we're like having like a little sandwich of here's two pieces of this book to clue you into what's going on when we start the book. It used to be that the next chapter coming up was the first chapter as I was writing it here, but I like this introduction sandwich thing that we have here. Time will tell if it works out. But so then we do this break here, and we're breaking to indicate that this is like a completely different time frame. This is his mind running wild. Is it supposed to sound homoerotic? Yeah, so that I know Negi may be joking there, but this is a very homoerotic novel, like all the way through. The relationship between Trader, who is a man, and Sergeant Zero or Suros is a continual thing in this story, and it should feel creepy every step of the way. Really and truly, like everything about the relationship between these two characters should be off-putting. It sounded gay as fuck, like the lighthouse. I'm not joking. Um, the last few sentences of the preface. Yeah, this his lance hurled at the eye of God. Yeah, this character is like a little bit of a freak when it really comes down to it. So, uh, touch my hefty lighthouse. My very first day in the XEROS program, Sergeant Suros hit me with an ancient piece of air combat doctrine called the Dicta Bolka. I'm going to say it like Bolka, like polka. I've said it like 8 different ways. I mean that literally. He crumpled up the sheet of paper and bounced it off my forehead. Like a fool, I darted a hand out and caught it before it hit the ground. It was our first day on the station. None of us knew any better. No one had even been culled yet. A few dopes even laughed. Not I. From the first moment, I knew he was a danger. From the first moment, I knew Suros was the dangerous one, the viper among the garters. Oh, shout outs to Loldangs. Belka? You think that's it? The Dicta Belka. Oh God, it's really fucking coming down out there. Lord have mercy. My first day in the XEROS program. Well, keep in mind that even though he might have hit him with his bulky dick, we need to make it classy and metaphorical rather than an actual dick. I mean, I'm not trying to be Chuck Tingle over here. Oh yeah, then he's no. Look at Spathy making some hay off of getting rid of hyphens. All right, so that is indeed a point. Oh, I made a countdown thing, but I didn't fucking use it for the stream. I could have remembered. Well, we started at 7:47 is what we need to remember, and then I'll. All right. I watched his expression darken like a storm rolling in from sea. Um. So one, this is like a little bit of a played out metaphor there. Two, this character would have never seen an ocean in his life. He was born and died on a space station. Um, He did not die on a space station. Like, I'm not sure. Let's just do. Yeah, language will have its own mega. Zero grav instead of zero g. Don't agree. Darken needs comma. They're separate clauses. They do need the comma. I'm going to take a point away from logic and give it. No. Hold on. Your ear can usually tell. Well, that's not fucking useful. These people are idiots. Institute for Writing Excellence. Yeah, I think this is a little trite. But everybody, the thing is, like, if you ever, there's a reason why this like expression is used frequently. Man, if you ever stood on a beach and like watched a storm rolling in, that feeling of being fucked is unforgettable. So, darkening like a sun. I don't want points. Just play my scoreboard sound. Okay. Wait, hold on. Let me see if the Spathy one still works. No, there we go. Look at how it does that. I don't know why the fuck it's doing that right there. I'll have to investigate. Um, I think maybe the image that it was supposed to play got moved, but and it puts the thing to there. Yeah, so I'm gonna give Spathy a point there actually because I think he's right that it needs the comma. And it's a good edit. I watched his expression darken like a storm rolling in from sea. Yeah. So far, I don't like. I'm about to get stuck in 2 feet of snow. How do you feel about this? I gotta go to the fucking supermarket right after this and get food. That's how I feel. Um, we're gonna leave this. I don't like the suggestion of uh, like a planet eclipsing the sun. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. Oh yeah. His expression grew dark, like a storm rolling in from sea. That's a great suggestion right there. Oh, I love that. Um, his expression darkened like a storm rolling in from sea. Yeah, I'm gonna take that. His expression darkened like a storm rolling in from sea. Yeah, that's better. And the other part of it too is like I want. Oh, you like grew dark? Yeah. All right. His expression grew dark. A storm was rolling in. It was a dark and stormy night. His expression grew dark. A storm was coming. Oh, I like that. There we go. That fixes the whole fucking thing. Yeah, all right, so what do we got here? I'm gonna give Negi a point for Grew Dark. Did we keep it? Yep. And then uh no, I don't like that rule at all. To replace simile with metaphor when possible. Not a, oh, is it, I'm not going to say your nickname, but I know who that is. Shout outs to our compatriot from Ryzen right there. Teamwork makes the dream work. This is much better. Okay. He's never seen the sea. I mean, he's seen it in like YouTube videos or whatever the Chinese communist space empire thing is there. Okay. So Negi's going to get a point for Gru. And then who had the big idea to cut it from darken? All right, like so I'm just gonna give Negi one right there. I think out of that whole mess. But yeah, as his expression grew dark, a storm was coming. The violence was swift and thorough. I remember lying on the deck, bleeding with the other recruits. There must have been cries of pain all around me, but I only remember the sound of his boots. But I only heard the sound of his boots as he stomped over and wrenched me up by my collar. Okay. A semicolon. Oh fuck. Is that a semicolon? Yeah, they're two like almost completely separate clauses. Yeah. Yeah, let's just break it out. I'm gonna give that to Negi. All right, so I remember lying on the deck, bleeding with the other recruits. There must have been cries of pain all around me, but I only heard the sound of boots. I like the semicolon. I heard the Unabomber used it because he was a mathematician. I almost always take the fucking semicolons out where I can avoid it. It's just confusing for the reader. Honestly, like I think, like outside of programming, the semicolon is pretty deprecated. Looks like the Unabomber, except instead of bombing people, he makes them drive to get fake products. Well, they're not fake. It's just they're imaginary, and um, really, there are many lessons learned. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be one of those people driving out for fake products myself. We're just going to do a role reversal. It's going to be me driving across the country in search of free shit. Fucking snow, man. I got to get food. Oh, it's going to be so jammed at the supermarket, too. Everybody's going to get coroned up. Suros stomped over and wrenched me by my collar. Suros stomped over and wrenched me from the ground. It's a deck. No. Suros stomped over and wrenched me up by my collar. He dangled me from one hand as easily as if we were in 0G. This is a clunky sentence right here. He dangled me from one hand as if. All right, so 0G. Is 0G hyphenated? Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I see a yeah. Wait, it's actually in British English. Oh, G is capital. Right, there we go. In British English. Cool. Yeah, there we go. That looks right. Dangle by one hand. No. Yeah, so dangling by gives the idea that you're like dangling off of a precipice or something like that over a dark chasm of infernal mystery. And like it, but he's like dangling him from. Uh, yeah, by's not right. You could do. He dangled me with one hand without effort. Also dangling like is. Let's check out the thesaurus. We dangling to hang loosely. Yeah, I think dangle is the best that we can get right there. It's good because we can't use hung and we can't use yeah. Dangle is all we got. Yeah, Z refers to the physical constant and not the word. Um, yeah, I disagree with by. Yeah, like I think it's gonna stay as is. The wad of paper was still clutched in my hand, clenched in my hand. Clenched versus yeah. We want clutch there, not clenched. Clench is too sphinctery. Um, for yeah. Nice catch, traitor. Memorize those by 0400 tomorrow. Fuck up and it's double. Yeah. He discarded me like a piece of trash. I remember wondering when we'd be taken for medical treatment. Ha! When I could move again, I tried to memorize the sheet. But the numbers swam on the page. Trying to read felt like putting weight on a broken ankle. It was a serious concussion, but I had no choice. Another beating like that would kill me. Yeah, clutched. All night long, comma, I mouthed the words while the other inmates twisted and groaned in their bunks. Hoisted. Oh, hoisted is good. He hoisted me from one hand without effort. No, it doesn't work. And hoisted me up. I think hoisted is better than wrenched. Yeah. Oh, I really like hoisted right there. If you weren't in the lead, you would get two for that. No, it doesn't work from dangling. XEROS stomped over and hoisted me up by my collar. That works perfectly. It's nice that hoist and joist are like similar words right there, and like conjure some of the same shit. Hoist me by the joist. Foist. All right, what do we got here? He discarded me like a piece of trash. I remember wondering when we'd be taken for medical treatment. Ha! When I could move again, I tried to memorize the sheet, but the numbers swam on the page. Trying to read felt like putting weight on a broken ankle. It was a serious concussion, but I had no choice. No. I had a serious concussion. Trying to read felt like putting weight on a broken ankle. I had a serious concussion. but I had to memorize them anyway. Another beating like that would kill me. No. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really like Hoisted there. But I had no choice but to try anyway. Another beating like that would kill me. I don't like that. Another beating would kill me. All night long I mouthed the words while the other inmates twisted and groaned in their bunks. The handwritten page was a set of 8 rules entitled Dicta Bulk. entitled Dicta Bolek. Bolecki. Fucking, we need a German. I said, how do, hold on, no. Let's see. Now let's see how they fucking say it here. I was just gonna fucking
16. Leading German ace Oswald
Bolka. Yeah, it's Bolka. The dicta. So it's just like fucking polka. I had it right. Bolka. Entitled Dicta Bolka. Since the era of biplanes, combat pilots have studied them. When 0400 arrived, I could barely stand up. But I recited the I recited the 8 dicta, word for word. XEROS glared at me, making a of annoyance with the side of his mouth. He'd been hoping I would fuck up, and I had disappointed him. My reward was a slap across the mouth, hard enough to turn my head. It confused me, not because I had expected anything else, but because I found I was disappointed too. I had a lot to learn about myself. The moment burned into me, along with the dicta. See, dicta is like, if we're going to capitalize dicta, yeah, let's capitalize it here as well. We E. Make an O sound with your mouth and say E. E. Dictabulka. Dictabulka. Dictabulki. Fucking, I can't get it. Oh, I'm gonna waste all day trying to say Dictabulka. Oh, yeah. That's a little better. Bulka. I can never forget. There. Yeah, so we need... Okay, so these... Yeah, these are, by the way, real dicta. Real dicta only in this book. There we don't... These are exactly as written. Like this is copied directly from Wikipedia. Well, you know what? Let's fucking put a comma anyway. Correct this motherfucker. Boom. Double. But these are word for word. So try to secure advantages before attacking. If possible, keep the sun behind you. 2. Always carry through an attack when you have started it. 3. Fire only at close range and only when your opponent is properly in your sights. 4. Always keep your eye on your opponent and never let yourself be deceived by ruses. 5. In any form of attack, it is essential to assail your opponent from behind. Oh, yeah. 6. If your opponent dives on you, do not try to evade his onslaught, but fly to meet it. 7. When over the enemy's lines, never forget your own line of retreat. 8. Attack on principle in groups of 4 or 6. When the fight breaks up into a series of single combats, take care that several do not go for one opponent. Here. And so then we need to break here. And then this is here. Pop, pop, pop. I don't know why I bother with this. It's going to come out in typesetting anyway. And then this is a new section, so we're going to indicate that by... No, let's just put that fucking comma in there. I actually am really happy that we're including the dicta bulka in bulka. Yeah, it should just be like a shorter bulka or whatever. I'm really happy that we're including the dicta bulka in this motherfucker. Because it is just like a neat little piece of like World War I history that I didn't even expect to have in here. This reads like spake these rules for thoughts. I blinked. 60 seconds to intercept. I had no plan. I realized I was breaking all 8 dicta. I was outnumbered and outgunned, flying straight into the sun. My squadron was gone. There was no line of retreat. 60 seconds to contact. There was only one question left. How did I want to die? Boom. All right, I like that paragraph. And so then it's the only chapter we're going to do today. And we didn't edit for as long as I would want to, but we'll build up a little bit here. So we started at 6:47 or 7:47, and we edited 1,300 words today, which is beneath what we probably need. Although honestly, it's not too far. So, and then we're gonna do, and then I just immediately forget 1, 2. And then, oh, am I missing one? Let's try. Oh, getting the last fucking. Oh yeah, this is definitely a spot for a colon. So that's good. I'm gonna give each of you a point for that. 7, and then 5, and then if it was, oh, it's 8:57, so we hour and 10 minutes only for the first day. I would like to press on for more, but I think instead let's spend some time going. So we got about 7 pages. No, we got 6 pages, but 7 pages is around what I normally do, like 1 chapter per day. So let's go back through this whole thing and just look for anything that like glares out at us. So we meet our protagonist there. He's in some trouble. He's staring at a silver ring, and he's about to fucking die. Proper distribution of points. Yeah, it's like similar to our previous ones there. Christofferson pushers. So we added this Albatross B2 thing here. Bloody space battles, barely skirmishes. Greatest was Blazar. I like talking about Blazar right here, even though this is a little much to throw at somebody like right off the bat. But I think we're like establishing this is like 500 years in the future. We talk. So we talk about space. So they know that they're in space. There's a growing silver ring where death waits. We see that the character has like these grandiose ideas about himself right here. We get into a little bit of prehistory right there. We start building the world a little bit, talking about the Eye of Dagon and Dagio. But we don't hammer people with it. And then we get into this Blazar, and we talk about these titanic space battles, and that's a little bit like trying to like fan the flames of people's imagination, saying, into like some Warhammer type crazy shit. I like this shit here too. This astronomer has created a new designation for Ares type nebulae, those born of war. I like that because it gets into kind of like a dark and feudal viewpoint of humanity. I really like this part, like the Dark Eyed Young, where he's like on this flight of fancy. At this point, by the way, this character is on drugs, right? And you don't find that out until later. But this kind of like his frantic thoughts and so forth make a little bit more sense when you realize that he's like fucking dope to the gills later on. I think we took out a little bit of the faggotry over here, but it's still pretty gay. In like the not good gay way. The normal way is good. It's very good. Anyhow, so we took out this really unnecessary great human furnace of ultimate evil or some shit. Suro should be in his mind kind of like a larger than life character. Wanted to be used. I wanted to be expended. I like this. So we hit the homoerotic note pretty hard right there. Maybe a little too much. I knew Suros. We fixed this like a storm was coming. So throughout this, we're gonna look for other places where the character has no reason to like know anything about the ocean or like dolphins or fucking flowers, etc. So we'll have to correct his language in a bunch of places. But I think storms are pretty universal, even in like space flight, like interstellar dust storms and fucking Jovian. Everybody's gonna know what a storm is, but even if they've lived in a pipe their whole life. I like this where he was like wondering where they'd be taken for medical treatment, and then he just laughs. This should be italicized. Because that falls into like the direct thought category. I do like this throwback to like some kind of History Channel type shit right here. And we go through the dicta, and then you realize that he's fucked and he's breaking all the rules right here. He's gotten into a terrible situation. Let's see. If you didn't sense it, is your gay accepted? No, it really is. It's foreshadowing that their relationship is going to be a weird one. It's not going to be a platonic relationship between the two of them. Even though, like, I don't want to get your hopes up because they don't have a sexual relationship in the context of the story, but they do have like a strange and twisted one. Okay, and I guess it's gonna end our first stream right there. I want to thank everybody who tuned into this. We're gonna do this every morning, unless I'm like really, really sick or in some strange woman's bed. Hopefully not. So yeah, like I hope you're enjoying chapter 2. The flaming Xeros confronts the quivering Xiong. I like. I honestly like. I've been looking forward to this editing stream for a little bit because I'm like really happy to share this whole thing with you. And it really was like this was an idea that was like stuck in my imagination for like a month. It was like the thing I would think about before I went to sleep. And I really think that we get to get into like some interesting territory and so forth. Like I said, like right now, this is not like the greatest thing that I've ever written, but it's an interesting thing. And I think it's definitely worth editing and worth going through. So tomorrow, here's just the very start of what you'll see. What is your crime? Sergeant Suros demanded. I betrayed mankind. I collaborated with the enemy. What is your name? Traitor. Love it. Yeah, and I miss having you fucking guys. This was like one of the highlights of my mornings. And I'm sorry that I write so slow. Let me give you an idea, just because you guys have been here for a bit. Let me give you an idea of what we've been working on recently. So I started writing a book of interconnected short stories called Vas Inane about a frontier town, and it's like a fantasy type thing. You can't see it up here, but I've been working on Ellipse, which is a book about a a planet with like a large elliptical orbit. Um, and I did the abstract, and then I'm trying to figure out how the fuck to sell Lemon Maybe. And I like reached out to some people to be like, hey, is this worth selling and so forth. Like I think that book is so fucking good, but I'm just not sure how to approach an agent about it. And I fucking hate pitching agents and so forth. I hate like going to people with like my hat in my hand. I'm like, hey, would you take like 15% of my money, please? Um, but yeah, Lemon maybe sells itself. Pro tip to Zach ZYZ YouTube subscribers: re-click the bell and set it to all. My phone didn't beep when the stream went live today. Well, that's great. Yeah, feel free to subscribe to this shit. Um, if you know somebody you think would enjoy this kind of editing, because I honestly, even though I'm not like a genius or anything, I've gotten continually better with each one of these editing streams. I always learn something I didn't know before. And if you got fucking nothing else going on in the morning, hop to it. Did we resolve the lyrics thing for Lemon Maybe? Well, that's part of the reason why we got to go with like a publisher right there. Um, just like the process of clearing those lyrics myself would be so fucking expensive. Every one of these guys is going to be like, yeah, I want $500 or maybe even more to have it in a book. For a book that, like, if I publish it myself, it's going to have a circulation of like 100 people, and like every one of those lyrics need to be in the book. They're like a big part of it. Anyhow, let me go buy some food so I don't die. And then we will be back tomorrow morning. Usually you should expect these streams to take between 2 and 3 hours. And they may move like a little bit earlier in the morning, depending on when I wake up. Because it's mainly just I'm going to wake up and do this whole deal. But yeah, thank you all for being a part of this. And Zeros Pump.